Okay, before I start, I want to be very, very, very clear. Okay, so this video that you're about to watch is targeting a very specific group of people. All right. So when I am mentioning black women, I am not talking about all black women. I want to be very clear with that. The women I'm referring to are the women who reflect the sentiments of this image that you see here. That's who we're talking about, and that's what who this video is addressing. It's not talking about all black women, period. Okay, we're going to make that distinction even clearer as you continue to watch this video. I have to do this in the beginning of the video because still people will watch until they find some offense, and then they'll jump into the comments without hearing the whole thing. So I want to be very clear before we begin. Now, when I saw this image, it didn't really bother me. It didn't really trigger me at all. What it did was actually confirm things that we all have saw and witnessed during this election season, where, you know, you have black women who have put literally everything into this election to see this Indian woman become elected under the guise of being the first black woman, which she was not. And so those women, that group of women were so put off and saddened of the fact that America chose not to select her, that again, they began to make that very clear. But during the entire election process, we were pointing out, along with other platforms as well, is the attitude and how this section of black women, how they were being very forceful in what they wanted to see happen, especially when it came to how they were addressing black men. And we've talked about this. This is, at this point now, is a dead horse. We've been talking about this along with other platforms for a good while, you know, making all kinds of threats. You know, everything from, you know, we're not going to date you, you know, we're going to basically, if you don't vote for her, that we hope that some of the worst things happen to you. You know, you have some people wishing that black men will, if they get lynched, we're not going to care. If you end up dead somewhere, we're not going to care. There was all types of different threats and different insults that this group of women were making all during the election, you know, and false accusations such as we're misogynistic. We don't like black women. We hate black women. We don't want to see them win. We want to see them fail. You know, it just went on and on and on. So America chose differently. And of course, it just ramped up even more. In fact, if you take a look at this article here, you'll see that, you know, it was America, but even black Americans in Georgia. Now, all of a sudden, this is coming out. Even black voters in Georgia, there was a significant amount of black voters who stayed home. And that's black men and women who stayed home. Black men and women turned out in much larger numbers for Biden and even larger numbers for Hillary Clinton. But when it came to Kamala Harris, no, we just, you know, there was a significant number that just wasn't feeling her at all. And this article goes on to explain that. So, of course, when she lost, guess who got the blame initially? It was black men, until the numbers came out that showed that black men actually showed up for Kamala at around 80%. But then once that didn't work, then they turned to their sisterin, who were white women. Now we're finding out that black girl magic is actually white girl magic in blackface. So they blame them, and, you know, and the blame is going all over the place. And so this image all of a sudden comes out, and I saw this image, and it just kind of was a sum total of pretty much what we have all witnessed and experienced throughout this elections. And what it basically shows, it's a group of women who basically says, hey, listen, we've done enough. We're tired of, quote unquote, saving America. We're tired of saving democracy. And so now, for the most part, we're just going to sit back and just let it burn. We're not going to do anything else. We're tired and we're done. And so here's the question that I've had, and I still haven't gotten an answer to this question, is this: who asked you to save America? In fact, where do you get that you actually have the power to save America? Why would you save America first and not just black people? Why wouldn't you take care of your own people first? But it's just tons of questions about this whole narrative that it just never been answered, and they still aren't being answered. This whole, we're tired. Okay, once again, we're going to have to put our coats on. We're going to have to put our capes on to save America, to save democracy and all that. And I don't recall anybody asking you to do that at all. In fact, it's just, no, nobody asked you to do that. But see, for me, the thing that really stuck out to me was that you were so aggressively wanting to do this solo assignment of saving America or saving democracy, that you was willing to throw your own men under the bus. I'm on the internet, and of course, like I said, the image that you see on the right-hand side, it kind of sort of went viral for the most part. I mean, it was being shared quite a bit throughout social media. But then there was this other image that you see on the left-hand side that is also starting to pick up steam as well. And of course, it was the Trump people, they came up with this one. And so I thought it was a very good contrast, because what you see on the right is a group of black women who are sitting on top of a building, with the American flag, while they are sipping on tea or whatever, coffee, and watching the cities burn. On the left-hand side, however, you see a white family. It's with the woman with her husband and her 2 children. And I said, wow, this is a huge contrast, because on one image, you are showing a full family all together. They're smiling, looking ahead, looking very optimistic. That's what I get from the image. On the right hand side, it's very pessimistic and very dark for the most part. But this is what the black women who put this together and the ones that have been making this image go viral, this reflects exactly how they see the rest of the world. And it's like I said, on the image on the right, obviously, you don't see the men. The men aren't there at all. In fact, if they're not there, then where are they? Well, the assumption is that they're in that city along with everybody else burning up. Now, listen, as I've said many times before, and I'll continue to say it, an election is an election is an election. That's all it is to me. That's all it ever was. And that's all it will continue to be for me. I don't care who people vote for, how they vote. I really don't. I really, really don't. It's not an issue to me. One of the things I love about, living where I am in this country or whatever is the fact that, online is one thing, but when I go out to the park, when I'm hiking, when I go to the restaurant or wherever I'm walking down the street, people have all kinds of opinions and lifestyles and stuff. And I'm not privy to any of that. We just simply share a space, rather if it's in the park or rather if it's at a restaurant or in a grocery store or whatever. And we all, for the most part, people tend to be very polite to each other. We'll say, excuse me, maybe hold the door open for each other. Maybe give directions if you ask or whatever. People generally are okay. They're not as pessimistic as online will try to paint the world to be. It's really not like that at all. But when it came to this election, this specific election, when I saw this group of black women, and again, for the numbers' sake, again, 92% of black women who voted for Kamala Harris. And let's do a rewind again. What was some of the things that Kamala Harris was standing for? Number one, she was standing for abortion, which is the elimination of our children. People can say, well, it's the woman's body. She has the right and all of that. But it also takes a man to make that baby. OK, so the man also has right to that child as well. I don't care what you say. I don't care what your opinion is on that. That is called biology. That's how it works. OK, a woman can't conceive on her own. It takes 2 to do that, period. And so if a woman is entitled in our legal system to get 50% of a man's earnings during a divorce, if they do not sign a prenup, then why is it so difficult for people to understand that a man also has a say so in the life of that child that he helped to create? It's just plain and simple to me. Likewise, another policy that Kamala pushed for was LGBTQ. That whole entire lifestyle. Again, this is what you choose to live, how you choose to live. That's up to you. However, these two lifestyles are counterproductive to population growth. So you have two things that I just named just right off the rip right there that are anti our population growth. And if you didn't check out the post that I posted some time ago on our community page, we outlined how Black Americans as well as white Americans, our population is declining. So any sane person will look at this and say, wait a minute, we should be growing. We should be growing like these other populations that I indicated on there, which were throughout the continent of Africa. Their populations are growing just tremendously, and the world knows that. Same thing with Hispanic families, likewise. But it's us, Black Americans, as well as white Americans, our populations are declining. So any sane person would say we need to fix that. We need to reverse that. So why would any sane person want to support policies that are ultimately for the decline of your population? I don't get that. I don't understand it. So you had that coupled with the threats, the different threats that I mentioned earlier, and the ongoing targeting and shaming of Black men. You know, it just was way over the top, and it showed that this was more than just an election. It was really a statement. It was a huge statement that was made, and it's a statement that we cannot and should not ignore, forget, or even forgive. So as I said at the beginning of this video, and I'll say it again, just for those that got short memories, this video is not targeted to every Black woman, because we know that there are many Black women out here who did not support that, who did not appreciate how Black women and even Black men were attacking Black men and others who did not choose to vote the way that this group of people wanted the rest of us to vote. So I want to make that ultra clear that this is not applicable to all Black women. And as I've said many times before, even during and even after these elections, I said that there needs to be a separation between those of us who do not embrace these self-destructive behaviors versus those who want to continue down that road. It needs to happen. There cannot be any quarter given. There cannot be any forgiveness extended at all. I had one person leave a comment saying that, okay, what are we going to do to bring these two groups together? And my answer is very simple. No, you do not. Why would I want to bring people who want our population to grow and to thrive and to live in love, peace, and harmony with people who want the direct opposite? Why would I want to do that? No, you need to get rid of the people who want to destroy that. And in this image that we just looked at, those are people who have no interest really at the end of the day of preserving it at all. And so, yes, there needs to be a separation when it comes to this group of people that we're talking about in this video. Another thing that this image really shows me is that even in their vision of seeing an America that's being destroyed, again, as I pointed out earlier, Black men are nowhere to be found. So again, this implies that even Black men are also part of their destructive vision of America. And I think this is a point that cannot be emphasized enough or overlooked. So for Black women who are okay with this type of image, who are still pushing out these narratives, you know, that, hey, listen, we don't need anybody. We're done with everybody, including Black men and all of that. My encouragement to you is to continue to talk, continue to put all of this out. And I really do mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I want you to continue to put images out like this. I want you to continue to express yourself and to let the world know exactly how you feel as far as your disconnect with Black men, your disconnect with Black families, your disconnect with sane communities. I want you to continue to voice that out. I want you to build platforms where you can say it even louder. I want that to happen because it makes it very clear and obvious for the rest of us of who we need to avoid. You see, this is what I see, and not just me, but there's many other Black men as well as Black women as well who see a future like this, regardless of who's sitting in the White House. We see a future where it is Black men and Black women with our children. We're all working together to carve out our own piece of our for our leg to build our legacy, to grow our families, and to continue to thrive. There are many, many black men, black women who share a vision like this. And this is the kind of things here on this platform that we're going to continue to promote. For those of you who have that other vision that that you proudly keep sharing, well, like I said again, continue to do it, because it makes it a lot easier for those of us who do not share that vision on who we need to avoid and who we need to stay away from. So, continue to live in that space, continue to live in that in that arena that you built for yourself. I want you to do that because, like I said, and I keep saying it over and over again, it makes it a lot safer for the rest of us so that we can avoid you. And again, it's not just the black women who fall into that category, but I'll say the same message for even the black men who are also pushing the same message as well. My hope is that they will make space for you on that rooftop. But looking at that image, I didn't see any black men on there. So you might need to find your own rooftop if America does end up like this. You might need to find another place to find refuge, because based on that image there, you ain't gonna find any comfort or rest or shelter with them. The last thing I will say here, and this is going to tie to the next video that we're going to do, is that this was a wake-up call for Black America, period. That no, we are not the center of the universe. We're not the center of the political universe. We're not the center of any universe. We're not. And this election really showed that. And some people are just having a hard time dealing with that. But truth is truth. I was going back and forth with someone recently just on this. I mean, it was going on and on about all the things that, America was built on our backs, and without us, there would be no America, and all of this stuff. And I do kind of get the sentiment, of what they're saying. But we got to look at this even further, because it's, yes, black people, we did build this country. Absolutely. But we never at any time controlled the system. We've never controlled the system. And the people who design and control the system, those are the people who really built America at the end of the day. We were just the laborers. But we're going to get into that in the upcoming video. And I'm going to go through the details of this, because this is a point that we really need to know. And we're seeing this in this specific example in this video, that no, we're not the center of the political universe, but we're not the center of any universe for that matter. It doesn't mean that we're not a special people that's highly gifted and have a lot of things to offer to the rest of mankind. I'm not saying that at all, nor am I downplaying who we are. But at the same time, I'm not going to fantasize who we're not. And so, again, we're going to be very real and keep it 100 on this channel, on this platform. And I look forward to that next video that we're going to do on this topic. But, I hope you got something out of this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys take care. We're going to be talking again soon for sure.